What would you do if the people you loved most died? And only afterward you discovered they had been betraying you all along. Today, we're breaking down the emotional roller coaster of Regretting You, 2025, a story about love, betrayal, and the painful consequences of secrets. This is a scene-by-scene recap, so brace yourself. Morgan was only 17 when she faced a life-changing decision. Pregnant with her boyfriend Chris's child, she felt scared and unsure about the future. Chris appeared loving and charming, but everything felt overwhelming. She confided only in Jonah, Chris's best friend, who quietly promised to stand by her. With that support, Morgan chose to keep the baby. 17 years later, that baby had grown into a teenage girl named Clara. Clara was bright, curious, and determined to build a life different from her mother's. Morgan had spent her youth raising her, and while their bond was loving, it was often tense. Morgan tried to protect her from everything, while Clara simply wanted independence. One afternoon, Clara spotted a boy near the city limit sign trying to move it. The boy was Miller, a classmate. He explained that he and his friends were jokingly trying to move the sign closer to his house. Instead of finding it strange, Clara helped him. The two quickly connected, bonding over their shared dream of working in film. But things became complicated when Clara learned Miller already had a girlfriend. Even though he clearly liked her, the situation made everything awkward. Meanwhile, Morgan's life seemed stable. She was married to Chris, and together they raised Clara in what looked like a normal family. Morgan's sister Jenny had also reunited with Jonah after years apart, and they now had a baby together. On the surface, everything seemed perfect, but behind the smiles and family dinners, cracks were forming. During Morgan's birthday dinner, Jenny mentioned she would resume work the next day and would drop her baby with Morgan. Morgan believed her and went about her mourning with the baby. Later, Morgan received a shocking call. Chris had been in a terrible accident. She rushed to the hospital with Jenny's baby, only to face a heartbreaking truth. Chris was dead, and the other victim in the crash was Jenny's. In that moment, Morgan uncovered the devastating secret. Jenny had been secretly involved with Chris. The grief was crushing. Clara struggled the most because she had always been very close to her father. She began acting out, drinking with friends, and shutting everyone out. Morgan tried to comfort her, but their relationship only grew more strained. Neither of them knew how to handle the pain. Clara started believing she might have caused the crash. Earlier that day, she had texted Jenny asking for advice. She convinced herself that if she hadn't sent that message, Jenny wouldn't have been on the road. The guilt slowly consumed her. One night, Clara visited her father and aunt's graves with her friend Lexi. They drank and talked about how unfair life felt. When Morgan discovered this, a heated argument broke out between them. Time passed, but the tension remained. Clara's world became even more chaotic. One night, she returned home and saw her mother Morgan kissing Jonah. Hurt and angry, she decided to rebel. She invited Miller over, hoping to distract herself. At first, the moment was driven by anger. Clara wanted revenge. But as the night continued, she broke down in tears, and the two ended up sleeping in the same bed. The next morning, Morgan walked in and found them together. Realizing the truth could no longer stay hidden, Morgan finally sat Clara down and explained everything. Chris had been driving the car, and he had been having an affair with Jenny. Clara was devastated. The father she admired had betrayed their family. But Morgan reminded her of something important. Despite his mistakes, Chris still loved Clara deeply. Hearing the truth finally lifted the heavy guilt Clara had been carrying. For the first time since the accident, mother and daughter truly understood each other. They realized they had simply been grieving in different ways. Instead of fighting, they needed to support one another. Clara later reached out to Miller and apologized for pushing him away. Miller forgave her immediately and admitted he still loved her. Slowly, they began rebuilding their relationship. At the same time, Morgan and Jonah grew closer. After everything they had endured, the feelings Jonah had hidden for years finally resurfaced. Morgan realized Jonah had always been the one person who truly understood her. One night they allowed themselves to be together. As a symbolic way of letting go of the past, they burned the letters Jenny had written. It was painful, but it helped them move forward. Months later, the family gathered for a small celebration. Miller surprised Clara with a video he had made, confessing that he had loved her for 2 years. He then asked her to go to prom with him. Clara happily said yes. The movie ends on a hopeful note. Morgan and Clara share a quiet moment, realizing their bond is stronger than ever. Both had experienced betrayal and heartbreak, but instead of letting the past destroy them, they chose to rebuild their lives. And sometimes, the only way to heal is to finally face the truth.